So let's talk about psychedelics. I know this is an area of interest for so many people. As a psychiatrist, I'm going to focus on the therapeutic utility of psychedelics that's being researched right now. Super interesting. The field of psychiatry has actually paid attention to psychedelics for a long, long time, but when they got moved to Schedule I substances way back when, around the Nixon time period, we had to halt a lot of this research, which is now starting to be revived again. What's super interesting about psychedelics, which are considered to be a Schedule I substance, which means they have high abuse potential and potential for dependency, is that we're now finding that they actually help with things like addiction. What is some of the rationale behind why we might be finding this in research? Well, when you think about the human brain, quite simplistically, certain behaviors, certain thoughts, certain feelings that drive behavior, and they work in this kind of feedback loop, can become really hardwired in our brain. So things that we continually do just mechanically, without really thinking so much about it, tend to be so hardwired in our brain that it's hard to break free of those wirings and those loops of neural circuits in our brain. Now, this is really highly implicated in things like addiction, where if I just need that drink one more time and I just have that urge that's so strong and rooted in these neural circuits that are hardwired, I get that drink, I drink it, and I feel better. And I'm just so used to that cycle and pattern of behavior that my brain doesn't know how to break free of that network anymore. And so psychedelics have this unique ability to activate so many other neural networks diffusely. When we look at fMRI imaging of activation of neural networks in the brain when we are under the influence of a psychedelic, we notice that the default networks in our brain that are continually on are not the heaviest networks that we're seeing at work. We see diffuse activation in the brain. This property of psychedelics is what really is therapeutic in addiction disorders and many other psychiatric disorders, which are also rooted in hardwired circuits in our brain. What the psychedelic does is it shows us alternate paths and helps us realize that we can go down a different path and not continue on the same one. We didn't see these paths before use of the psychedelic. And so that's kind of very simplistically the mechanism behind which psychedelics are helping treat a variety of psychiatric conditions, addiction being one.